Three women break down.
Three women break down life as mothers, wives, and boss bitches, all while keeping it together with coffee, duct tape, therapy, smut books, and each other.
Get the kinks out with us.
Welcome to another episode of Kinks Out. Joining us today is the Sentient Object Queen, Miss Holly Wilde. Thank you for coming to talk to us today. We're excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for asking me to join y'all.
Super excited. Oh, y'all. I like that. Where we're from, you say yins, which sounds a whole lot less cute.
Yeah, y'all is cute. Yins is trashy. But I say it.
I have never heard anyone say that y'all is cute.
That's because you don't say yins.
Yeah, I think that's, yins. People where we're from, it's like, how yins doing? Yins going downtown?
Going down the point. Anyway, already derailed.
Right?
So.
Sorry. Okay, so before we jump in, we do like we used to call it rapid fire, but we're awful at that. So it's a slow burn question situation. And we just want to say first, like, we love your books and they are the perfect, like, I don't know. I know that Mars and I, we read them like if we have a book hangover or if there's somewhere where we're like, we just need to reset everything. We hop into one of yours because they're so fun and spicy.
Yeah.
And even though this last one, I like Sentient Claws.
I can't wait to talk a little. I don't want to spoil it. So we're going to talk a lot about it. But
even
we do have
though
to talk about it.
Even though it was still light and spicy, I like the points that you made. So we'll dive into that. But yeah, so we just want to say that we turn to you when we have book hangovers. And while we were doing some research about you, we creeped your Insta, obvi. But when you made the comment about the audiobooks in the carpool line, we like that is our life.
Yep.
Like that is straight up like when we first started doing this, we told all of our friends, like, when you listen to the eps, you gotta put your windows up in the carpool line.
Not safe for the carpool line.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I even listen to you guys on Spotify, but also my littles listen to like podcasts, and we've got their own playlist of songs, and I have to like hide the screen so it doesn't say like kinks out.
Right? They're like, what's that mean?
That one.
And I'm just like, nope, educational things only on mom's phone, I promise.
Right? That tracks.
That's it.
Oh my God. Well, Shuggy, you always do the slow burn.
I'm gonna do the slow burn. But before I start slow burn, we just wanted to applaud you and other authors who participated in the Finding Resilience in Our Rage discussion last week, because we have been feeling the rage. And we are trying to find ways that we can help and make a difference. And so seeing authors that we love doing this makes our hearts feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was so on the fence of starting it, and like honestly, a part of me was like, maybe somebody else will do this, but I didn't see anyone really gathering anybody, and I like, as Holly Wilde, that's not really the person you expect to put something together.
I loved it.
I'm really fortunate that all of the speakers, overlooked my peen heavy graphics. And I don't really address drama or trauma or anything heavy because, I love giving that little breath of fresh air. That's one of the reasons I write what I do. But life is still intense, and even it's important to witness and honor that if we want change, we have to, as individuals, be the ones who make that, and then get perspectives from the individuals that are really they're writing for the marginalized voices. So it was really great, and thank you guys for being there and supporting that.
We did an episode. Our last episode was us kind of just like rage talking is kind of what we called it. And we felt the same way. We were like, should we do this? Even after we recorded it, we like went back and forth about putting it out. And we were like, you know what? If everybody else can say what they want, why can't we? Why can't we express how we feel and our feelings and everything? So no, we understand that feeling of being like, is this, do we need to like stay in our lane, so to speak? But if we do that, then nothing changes.
Exactly. Well, I'm so glad that you guys found that resilience and shared your rage.
Yes. Shuggy's had a lot of rage.
Yeah, she's the ragiest. Is she still there?
Who, me?
Yeah.
That is so, Holly, if you've listened to episodes, that's pretty on brand.
It did freeze, but I probably would have had the same question otherwise. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
All right.
Slow burn.
Coffee or tea? What's your poison?
Coffee, hands down. I like tea. I drink tea, but I will turn to coffee when given a choice.
Same.
How do you take your coffee?
I just honestly like regular coffee with a heavy splash of soy milk. It's pretty plain. Yeah.
Not like your
Not-
books.
Nope, not plain at all.
The dairy-free nut-based creamer.
Wait, I mean, yeah, there's a touch. Oh, goodness.
All right. What
Right,
about your favorite food?
I love Mexican food. I could eat Mexican food all day, every day. My wedding was served Mexican food.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and then desserts, especially pastries. Oh my gosh. If it's got like a buttery, flaky something going on, I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Same.
that is good.
Oh, a Mexican pastry. Like some fajitas in in a croissant. So I'm gonna try that. Fajitas in
That
a
actually
croissant.
does sound weirdly good.
Honestly, that sounds very vintage Pinterest recipe. I think it could probably go pretty well, right?
Yes, for sure. For sure.
I'm so here for that.
Fuck.
What was that?
I keep
Doug, are you
freezing.
okay?
No, I just keep freezing.
Did you just go fuck?
Yes. What is your favorite TV show?
Oh man, that's hard. I don't know if I have like a favorite of all time. I think that it's more of a favorite of the moments because I will find something and binge it and be all about it. And then once it's over, I just kind of move on to the next thing. Oh, I don't have an answer for that. I love more paranormal leaning things. So anything like Witcher, I like Husband Hotel, I like oh my god.
Let me ask you this. Have you watched The Witcher since Henry Cavill's gone?
No.
Me neither.
I
That's
mean-
like what me and my husband were like huge into The Witcher.
Yeah.
And then when it switched, I was just like, it's not the same.
Who took his place? Or is it
A
just like a
Hemsworth,
different?
which is fine.
Yeah, you can't be offended by a Hemsworth. Jeez.
No, I think if it started that way, I think it'd be different. But there's just a very growly component to
Mhm.
Travel that worked.
I didn't watch it.
So good.
Maybe I shouldn't list that one since I haven't technically watched.
No, that's a good one.
You're
though.
allowed to say what you want. This is a safe space.
But then again, lately, our comfort has just been like binging Friends
Yes.
at night. So that's what we like. My husband and I will watch an episode or two or three if it's been a really long day.
That
And
just makes me so happy.
So
Friends is my safe show, and neither Jeej or Shug have ever watched it. Ever.
What?
I know. I constantly, almost every episode, I make some sort of Friends joke or reference. and they don't get it, so it's not funny. It's only funny to me. But every episode,
She's like, I wrote it in my diary and I laughed about it
I
later.
laughed about it later. My friends, but that's okay. But I love that. Yes, that's my safe show.
All right, I'll laugh at your references. Dude,
Thank you.
yesterday, my husband and I made a joke about like a friend's joke, and my kids were just like, "Is that from your show you're watching?" I'm like, yes.
Yes,
don't
it
worry."
Did you ever watch, do you watch any of like the Marvel stuff? Like we just watched Agatha all along.
Oh, we watched that too.
So no, my family's not really a big superhero family.
Okay.
So
She's witchy. That's why I wasn't sure, you know, like the paranormal kind of
her.
stuff. Because we did this, like we watched that and we were like down, down, down the
I've
road.
been singing that song in my head now. It's like it's so catchy, the one song from that show, and yeah, I've been singing it for days at this point.
Yeah, it's not superhero-y, so you might like it.
It's more witchy than superhero-y.
I love witchy, so maybe I'll check it out. I did hear that you have to kind of understand some of the universe, and I like superheroes, but because nobody else in my house watches it, I just don't ever.
Well,
Yeah.
When you have time, you just have to watch the entire Marvel series from beginning to end, along with the sub-series. So you have to watch like Wanda and Vision too, and then you'll be all caught up.
I'll be ready for it. Okay.
Just a quick binge. It's fine.
It'll take you about a week.
My God, it would take longer than a week. She would.
If that's all she does, you have to ignore your family and every other aspect of life. All caught up.
Perfect. Yeah, no, we watch a lot of Godzilla and Jurassic Park.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, the monster-y movies seem to be what we do.
Do you ever think about like Godzilla as like a sexual being?
Who doesn't?
I love you.
No,
I'm just wondering.
It's so funny because I'll watch stuff like obviously, what was that show, Fallout, and the ghost character was, super yummy, even though he has like no nose and he's all skeletal and stuff. Yeah, I'll definitely watch shows, and my husband will just give me this look because he knows in my head I'm just like, smash.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
He gives me this look like, you keep your monster thoughts to yourself, ma'am.
That is so amazing. That's good.
That's
so
like,
does he read your books?
Yes, he's the first to always read my books. He reads them and he lets me know if they make sense to somebody who wouldn't understand, like if this was their first drop into Sentient Object, because this is obviously not what he reads or dives into. So when I get a little abstract, he's very quick to rein me in and be like, I don't think people are going to understand this. I think you need to like make it more concrete. I don't give explanations to things. I'm just like, this is life. Things are alive and we're banging them.
Right. And that's one of the things I really like about your books is that it's like you're not making it seem as though it's like a fantasy in someone's mind. Like it's real. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing that I like about writing in the style that I do is it's not centered around a really difficult reason where it's like, you broke up with your boyfriend or life's going hard or anything like that. And so of course you're going to turn to an object because why not? It's very much like, life is good. I'm hanging out with my friends. This bear is alive. Okay. So I really do. I just love making an escape, just like a pure whimsical escape.
We love it.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
All right, Shug, what else you got?
All right. I'm gonna skip ahead. Fave book of all time.
Ooh, man, y'all. So, okay, here's the thing about me. I don't have favorites. I struggle so hard with favorites because I think I'm just a mood reader, a mood TV watcher. So I I love all different kinds of genres, from thrillers to romantasy to nonfiction. I can't narrow down a favorite because it really depends on like who I am in that moment and what speaks to me.
Are you reading anything right now?
I have a couple of books that are going on, but not, I'm writing.
Okay. Yeah. I could imagine that would be hard to be
Yeah.
reading things and being in like the writing headspace.
It is very hard to read and write. One of the ones that I'm working on is Scars Like Wings. And it's like a really good sapphic fantasy dragon romance.
Ooh.
That's one of the ones I'm going through. And what else am I reading? Oh my goodness. I'm also one of those people that has like a Kindle book, an audiobook, and like sometimes a physical book all at the same time. And I just, just.
You are seen. I see you. That is, I currently have like 4 happening right now. I'm like, my audiobook is a holiday. My Kindle is a mafia. My physical is
one at a time over here for me.
Shuggy
Otherwise,
0 at a time.
0 at a time.
0 books. I can't. I think I get so invested in books that like if I was to start another one, I'd be like, but I wonder what is happening in this book. Do they miss me? Like,
Do they miss me?
So I have to like commit and finish one and then I can move on. But once I read it, then I'm kind of like, okay, what's next? But in the moment, I get so invested I can't have too many things going on at once.
See, I go by what am I doing and how can I fit a book into this moment? Am I cooking dinner? There's my audiobook moment. Am I sitting and reading and don't want to look like I'm on a device? There's my physical copy moment. Am I in bed and the lights are off, but I'm still going?
You're the same. That is exactly
You guys
it.
are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I get what you mean too about like not wanting to seem like you're on a device. Like with my kids, especially if I have my Kindle, like they know that it's a book.
Yeah. Yeah. You get me.
I see you. All right, Sugar.
All right, I'm gonna throw in my last own question. I'm gonna skip your question and throw in my own. I want to know what the sexiest kitchen tool is to you.
Sexiest kitchen tool. Ooh, okay. Well, I don't want to say what popped in my head first.
Yes,
please.
Yeah. You need to tell us.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know the KitchenAid mixers, you know the flat beater attachment?
Yes, I do.
Why did that come into my mind? Because it just seems like it's gonna
I
like
love it.
smack you in the way that you like it. It's gonna be like, there you go. And then it spins around, so all the positions that I can like, it's like Cirque du Soleil up in here with that thing. It's really
Yes.
That's amazing.
That is fast with force.
There's settings you can
Take it slower. Spice
Slow beating.
Yeah, you can slow it down and then ramp it up to a 10 and, and then, come down to a little stir at the end when you're like all out of breath and sweaty. I'll stick with that answer.
Yeah.
No, we're not gonna let you change it. So you can add to it. You can add another object, but that stays. That is I'm gonna like bring my mixer out to make cookies. I'm gonna be like, "Hello, paddle attachment."
The holidays just got a little brighter.
I love it. I love that. Okay, so now that we're done with slow burn,
right?
The slow burn. We are dying to know, like, what sparked what sparked inside of you to be like, I'm gonna write sentient object books. Like, how did it start?
I honestly have no idea. So I started writing. I honestly started writing to help overcome really intense brain stuff that was going on due to illness and mold poisoning. I lost a lot of function with speech and mental processing. And so I started writing to kind of regain language again. And then I really liked my stories, and I was like, why not start putting them on Amazon? If no one reads them, cool. If someone reads them, that's cool too. And my first book was actually a Christmas book. I just celebrated my 1 year publishing anniversary last week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was a sweet romance about two rival Santas in Savannah, Georgia, who were like competing to have the biggest crowds and have the best Christmas display. And then, spoiler alert, they fall in love. And it was really sweet. And then from there, I just started like having more fun doing holiday stuff. And it went into like, well, what about some nutcracker soldiers that come to life and we bang them? And then it was like, what about this spell that turns somebody into a candy cane and we bang that? And then I think Plant Monster was next, and I went kind of dark with that one. And then I never went back. I just started, I don't know, it was just really fun writing about something again, because I had all of this like trauma of finding out we had mold poisoning, having to move, not really having a place for a really long time, having to throw away all of our belongings, including all of our, my kids' toys, all of our
Oh my
God.
goodness.
So I was just in a heavy place. And it's not like I stopped reading heavy books. I still love, deep fantasy and mafia romance, but I needed something light. So I started writing it. And it just became really therapeutic to write these kind of silly stories that didn't really have any purpose other than just being fun.
Yes.
So that's how I ended up in Sentient Object World. I think that writing humans, you get very complex emotions. Writing objects, it's just the excitement of what can you enjoy, what kind of memories and moments can you make with this being.
Yeah, and you were already going through so many emotions. You didn't need any more. People are always like, you just read trash. And I'm like, there's enough going on that
Right.
like sometimes you just want something that you don't have to worry about sadness or, you know what I mean? Like that's one of the reasons that I love your books. Like you said before too, is just like you're hopping into this world. You don't have 20 pages of an explanation or build up. It's just kind of like, this is where we are and we're going with it.
Yeah. So that would be it. I really wanted to write something just for fun. I had no idea it would take off. I had no idea people would read these and then start giving the birthday series as birthday gifts to people. And it's really cool. It's just one of those moments where it's like, oh my goodness. So I'm not the only one that needed just lightness in the world.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep going.
Was there anything that you've ever started that you're like, nope, that is not gonna work?
I have so many. I don't think that there's an object that exists that wouldn't work as a sentient object romance. It's more of what are people going to be like, that's the line, Holly. You crossed the line. I mean, I wrote about lint, dryer lint, and about a nose coming to life. And so I don't really think I limit myself on that. But there are just some that I'm just like, maybe this one's a little too abstract. Like I have a work in progress of like getting it on with my chronic illness or something like that. And and he's like so caring. He's like, I'm so sorry that I make you faint all the time. And he's like, let me support you. I'm like,
I can actually get behind that. Like you're like, oh.
So, but here's me. I'm like, I have questions now. So with that one, does he so if it's in her body, does he become an object or is it just like within her?
yeah, so it's starts out with her feeling a little woozy in the bathroom, and like she's looking in the mirror and she can kind of like see the haze around of like brain fog like around her in the mirror because of like the shower steam or something.
Okay.
And
That makes sense.
yeah, so it's and again
That makes sense.
and yeah, there are other abstract ones that again, it's just kind of like I I don't know if they're too abstract, but they're therapeutic for me to write and just kind of like get the out of my brain and just be like, okay, this is now on my computer.
Yeah, even if
love
nothing
that.
comes of it, it's like I have this idea, I have to get it out, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that there's anything too abstract. Like I'm just sitting here thinking about like my blanket could be hot. Like there are lots of things in my room that could be hot
Comforting,
if I
cuddly,
thought about it.
wraps around you. I mean, that's a good, golden retriever partner right there. Always there for you
Yes.
when you need it.
Right.
All day we're just gonna be looking at our objects.
That's
Like-
how I feel like I would be if I was you. I would just be like constantly looking at objects and being like, all right, I have a story for that. I've got a story for that. Like it would just be, I feel like your brain must be so just like constantly moving because you're just surrounded by objects. I don't know. Maybe you're better at shutting it off. I'm not good at shutting off my brain once I like.
I don't shut it off, and then I'll make little snide comments about it to my husband, and he's just like, "Oh, please."
You're like out like, holiday shopping or something, and you're like, I bet that would fuck real nice. And your husband's like, let's go.
We're no longer allowed in Target.
Oh, it's so, I get messages from people about how like I can never be around this object ever again. And then, I mean, I'm like, yep, that's me and my husband grocery shopping and seeing, gummy bears in the aisle. And him just being like, stop.
Like pick them up and show them. You're like, hee hee.
No, listen, I searched high and low for some. Okay, Halloween was like, I know,
Loved it.
yeah, I loved it so much. But I searched high and low for those like big, tall, like everyone always has those giant skeletons in their yard, but I wanted 3 of the big skeleton-y things with pumpkin heads. And like I've seen them before. I searched everywhere for them so I could have them in my yard.
Like inspired by you.
Yeah, inspired by you. Like that was legit. Like I was like, this is happening.
After we read
So
it,
much yes.
we both said like Gigi's yard is much better than mine. So I was like, Gigi, you gotta get those
Yes.
pumpkin head skeletons in honor of Halloween.
Somebody sent me a picture of one in somebody's yard. And she was like, I passed this on my way to work and I can't, like, I just think of you.
Gordy.
And I'm like, oh,
Gordy.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes. 100%. I think there's one more
Speaking
question.
of, well, can I go straight into an idea for a book for her? Like we're gonna pitch you an idea. I think that you should write a book about 3 really hot girls who have a podcast and their microphone that they practically deep throat when they're talking, and then the microphone comes to life. Don't you like? I winked. You can't see me.
I winked. You can't see.
I wonder what the inspiration for that one is.
Right? We just stare at these microphones all day.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I think that would be a fun one to write because the dirty talk would be epic. It's a microphone. So it's
Right?
gonna know all the words and
Mhm.
know what to say to really set the mood. I think the banter would be just chef's kiss. I like that.
Yeah, the banter. I love that. Oh my goodness. So in the spirit of the holiday season, your Christmas book that just came out was Sentient Claws. let's talk about it because we like first off, Dom Mrs. Claus. I'm gonna slow clap here.
Madam Claus?
Yeah.
I love Christmas. Like my house is already fully decorated. I just love Christmas. And this is the first time in my entire life that I did not like Santa Claus. I was so mad at him. And I'm over it now. I finished the book. I've moved on. But I was really mad at him because as I started reading it, I was like, okay, first of all, quit slut shaming. And also I'm like, you are supposed to be joyful. And I was so angry at him. But then like as I kept reading, I was still mad at him. And then at the end, I don't want to give too much away because I want people to read it.
Yeah.
But I just like, it was definitely to me, like it was different than your other ones, but in a good way. Like the points that you made are so true that like I've literally been out somewhere and like my kids play sports and I'll take them to practice and I'll be reading something on my Kindle and someone will be like, ooh, what are you reading? And I'll be like, romance or something. They're like, I don't like it all the way off. Who cares what I'm reading? I'm not reading it out loud. I'm not like, here, sit down for story time, kids. So it's just, I like that, you brought attention to the fact that there are 100% Santas out there like this, being like, oh, women are gross because they read this. So, they should be in the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. How Santa was.
Oh, Santa. That was part of the absurdity, was making such a beloved character into a villain. And that honestly, it was hard because I wanted to make sure I had the right amount of like disgusting behavior without it being to the point of being like so triggering that it'd be like, oh, I know these people. Like just I wanted to keep it light and absurd, but also draw attention kind of to the real issues, because I wrote this a while back and there's like all this discourse and stuff going on in social media, very much like Santa Claus, commenting on people's posts where, as indie writers, so often we are also our own social media experts. We're our own promoters. And so, people come into our platforms and they're like, why are you, this is basically porn. What are you doing? And it's like, well, you don't have to be here. You can scroll. But again, with Santa, I wanted to make it silly, like where he's like, if you actually put down the books, we could have peace on earth, because it's a very Santa thing to say, like joy and peace on earth, but at the same time, very condescending. So it was a fine line, and it took a lot of edits to get him to that perfect point of like, I really hate you, but it's also quite absurd because you're freaking Santa Claus. So yeah, that was a really tough. And again, when I wrote it, it wasn't quite as, the world wasn't quite as intense as it is right now. So then I was like, wow, this is like actually really poignant to this time that we're in.
It is. And I think that's, for me reading it, I felt that way. Like I felt that vibe about it right now where it's like, God, there are so many men, unfortunately, who have the power, so to speak. And this is their way of thinking. Like they are the Santas. And it's just, I don't like it. I feel like Shug, you probably can talk more about it too. But yeah, I know what you're saying, that like with this book coming out now, it's like, ooh, the Santas are in charge, the bad Santas.
Yeah, and Santa was the creator of the patriarchy when he decided he wanted more power over people's lives by creating a naughty list and shaming them. So,
fuck the patriarchy.
Yeah, boo Santa. What? I didn't even read the book yet, and I'm angry. And that's not a slight to you at all. I don't read at all. So I just do not read.
It's only been out for like 18 days now, or 18, 19 days. So it's okay. It's still a very new release. But and I also, to the point, I loved writing Madame Claus. First of all, taking her from Mrs. Claus, the side character who just bakes cookies for Santa, and like really making her somebody real. Like I even had to Google what is her first name, and like there's a couple different ones because each generation comes up with a new name for her. And I'm like, this poor lady, she's over here being the backbone for Santa, and we don't even know her name. So gave her
Exactly. We know she wraps all the presents.
yeah.
She runs the show.
Yes.
So you would love Madame Claus. You would love her.
I'm sure I would.
You would.
It's gonna make things different when I go to the elf house this year. I'm gonna look at Santa and Mrs. Claus a little bit different.
All right, so before we kind of like start to wrap things up, we obviously creeped you, like we said. I saw that you studied astrology, and you said that like a lot of your physical books are like astrology books. Is it something that like you plan to pursue further? Or you studied it, like you went to school for it for several years, according to your Instagram. So can you tell us like what fascinates you about it, or what are you interested with? Words are hard. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. I before becoming an author, I was a professional tarot reader and astrologer. And I still love it. I still do it for friends. I still have former clients that reach out to me and I will give them readings. Um, I've been doing that for maybe 15 years now. It's just a passion of mine, but I didn't have the time to really dedicate to doing full readings anymore as life continued. So it's still something that I just do privately and I really love. For anybody interested in astrology, the astrology podcast, I watch them on YouTube, is one of my favorite sources. And they do a monthly look ahead every month that they put out for free. And it's such a great deep dive. But yeah, it is something that I love. Um, I'm trained in doing astrology readings for parents and children to help parents understand how to work best with their children's placements
What?
because everybody is so different. And sometimes, the ones in our families are quite triggering because we experienced such a different life growing up because of our placements and our elements that are in our charts. And so, how can you help yourself kind of parent yourself through this journey and also help with your child? Like, for example, I'm a fire sign and my husband's a water sign, which is totally different. I'm very fire and earth heavy in my chart, and he's very fire and water. So, I'm able to kind of look at how we balance each other and also see how like sometimes I'm a little too go for him and he needs time to sit and process and move things through his emotions instead of through a linear timeline or because I want to. It's my go-to. Because I want to. I want to go. My fire's moving. I'm ready to go and he just needs a little bit more of a container to let things flow through him and decide, is this something that I even want to do? And same thing with children. And it's really, yeah.
We're both like mind blown right
I know.
now.
I've never wanted to do something more in my life than to
Yeah.
like that is. I always like not wonder that specifically, but sometimes like my oldest and I, he's a tween, so he just turned 11, so we butt heads. But I think that like I don't know if it's because our personalities are so similar or because they're so different. And things like that I'm like, man, what can I do different to like get him to understand where I'm coming from, but also understand his side too.
Yeah, mine are, and I don't really talk about my family much because, I try to keep everything separate.
Right.
But while we're on this subject, mine are very first house heavy placements. So the first house is very much like who you are and how you see yourself. And as they're growing up, I'm seeing a lot of the ways that they crave validation, but also the ways that like certain people will make offhand comments, and it just sinks into them. And I have to keep in mind, like, okay, that Chiron on their ascendant is going to be where they're basically looking at a mirror and seeing a totally distorted version of themselves. And so as a parent, my job is to help build them up so that they can have that self-esteem. And I turn to astrology because I realized that my love as a mother is not going to be enough for them in those dark times.
Oh my
And
God.
so how
Oh
can
my
I
God.
help build them into people that are like, I know my parents love me, and I know they do the best for me, but I need to love myself. And how can I, in those dark nights of the soul, how can I be there? As a mom, how can I give them the tools that they can lean into so that they don't feel alone? Some people turn to a higher power, and I just turned to the stars and use that as like a pattern recognition to give them pointers to love themselves.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
I'm
I was
obsessed with
yes.
this. I feel like
feel
this could be its own episode.
I'm like, okay, now, so tell me,
Right.
I'm about to break down all of my children for you. I'll Venmo you. What do I need to do?
Right.
I feel like I could talk to you for hours about this. That's so interesting because I have never looked at it in that way. Like, it's always been, my oldest was, he went to therapy for a while and stuff like that. And we've worked through some issues. And now I'm like, what else can I do as a parent? Oh my God. I feel like I need to do some major research.
And again, that's
awesome.
why I write the books that I write, because I've lived through many dark nights of the soul. And I understand there are people out there that are suffering just like me with anxiety, mental health, and just struggling with a lot of pressure, external pressure that has become this internalized tape that just wears you down. And when you are in that mood, sometimes it's hard to pick up a book that has a lot of other human voices saying, my life is hard. Here's why my life's hard. And sometimes it's a little too close to home. And banging a deviled egg is not very close to home.
Right. It's not
What
close
a
to
good
home.
way to like wrap things up. I
That
love
was
that.
fantastic.
Yes, that was. You're good at this.
I just have to say too that I admire and I love what I love about you, how we just went from these crazy books to exactly how you said, like you can, I just want to put out there, like you can read this kind of stuff, you can write this kind of stuff, you can be this, but you can also be a good parent,
Yep.
a good spouse, these things, there's so many things that define people and it's not just this one thing. So yeah, like we can still be good moms and read whatever we want
and have a podcast talking about it.
Yeah,
that
and
doesn't change the fact that like later today I'm going to celebrate my middle child's birthday, and you know what I'm not going to talk about? The book I'm reading.
Yeah,
like those things are not connected.
Yeah, tonight my littlest turns 2, and I'll be like hanging random, like blowing up random balloons. We always do, like when they walk down the stairs, they see like we hang like those streamers from like the doorway and like a happy birthday sign and make a bunch of balloons. Like that's just always, I don't know. It happened with our first child, and then we just it's like like those $4 like those things that hang in the doorway.
Yeah,
That start like
at my house that you did this.
No, as you're the one that like went and dropped off like donuts at school. So listen, different strokes. But like I'll be listening to my ridiculously spicy audiobook while I'm decorating for my little's birthday. Do you know what I mean? Like the two things can exist together.
We can do it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love it. And happy birthdays to y'all's family.
Yeah,
yes,
crazy.
We have a bunch of kids with birthdays all in a row.
Yes.
Like my oldest was October, and then you had like your middle, and then and then mine with 4 in a row, basically.
Yeah.
Whew, we were busy. Well, thank you so much. This was awesome to talk to you and dive into the sentient world a little bit more. And I mean, I would love to keep talking about all the other stuff too. But unfortunately, like we all have kids to pick up, and right. I'm like, damn it, damn the preschool pickup.
Yeah,
time.
What?
But thank you for coming on and talking to us. This was really cool.
Yeah, I loved getting to know you. It's like in the Wizard of Oz, like the woman behind the curtain.
Oh, I was like, I don't know where you're going with that one.
No, dude, we just watched The Wizard of Oz. That's the only reason that I'm saying that. But like,
A man?
Yeah, but
Okay,
she's the.
just saying. I thought maybe I missed a part of the Wizard.
No, I just called her the Great and Powerful Oz.
The Great and Powerful Oz, Holly Wilde. You could write. Oh, you should do a Wizard of Oz themed book.
Oh my goodness. I have so many. This is the hardest part of being a creator is I have so many ideas. And the way that I write is I always write the first page so that I don't forget it. And then I go back to it. And I also, Holly Wilde's not my only pen name. I also write paranormal thrillers with my husband.
Oh, no
What?
way.
Yeah.
You're the cutest person ever.
You are.
And those are dark. Those are fun. And our first one's going to be out. We're hoping January is going to be when we can release. Wisps of Death is the working title, and it's yeah. Again, it goes into like the esoteric and stuff. I'm excited. I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, if you need ARC readers, let us know.
I do need ARC readers. Yeah, I will let you know.
I love that you do that with your husband.
Yeah.
You imagine me and mine trying to write a book. Oh my God.
He's so great at writing action.
Cool.
And then I go into the psychology and the esoteric of like, okay, well, why is this dude doing all the things he's doing? And my husband's really great at being like, this is what he's doing. And so it's a really fun partnership. We have a lot of fun.
Really cool. So yeah, listeners, be on the lookout.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm so excited. That's really cool.
We can mute ourselves. Do you have anything else to say?
I was just muting myself because the garbage truck is here to rail something. I'm not going to be able to look at anything from here on out without sexual thoughts now.
You're welcome.
I love that it's not. Oh, I'm sorry. You're like, you're welcome.
Just think about that garbage truck and all the dirty, dirty things it could do to you.
It's exactly what was going through my head.
100%.
Oh, and that, folks, is Holly Wilde.
That's
we are so happy to have had you here. This was so wonderful. Follow us on our socials at Kinks Out Podcast. Holly, what are your handles so we can have everybody give you a follow?
Yeah, I'm at Holly Wilde Books on everywhere, but I'm most active on Instagram.
Same.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here. This was wonderful, and yeah,
we're gonna have to do another one with you. I just feel like this wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm here for it.
Awesome. Bye, guys.